So, funny story, you guys have seen this car on the channel before. This is the 2005 Lexus SC430 that Substitute Topher and I reviewed a few months ago. And if you watched that video, you may remember that I said, my mom always wanted one of these. And guess what? Right after reviewing this, she went over to the dealer and bought it. So now we have a Lexus SC430 in the family, and I wanted to give you guys some ownership impressions, some thoughts on what this has been like the first few months. And I've driven it some. Of course, my mom's driven it a lot more than I have, but we fitted it with some new tires. We've put some floor mats in there. We've fixed some things. A couple of things have gone wrong, surprisingly. But for the most part, it's been a fantastic little car. And yeah, let's hop inside. We'll talk about it. We'll go for a drive. And it's a chilly 27-degree Michigan winter morning. So get this thing fired up and we'll get on with the video. I just love turning a key in an ignition these days. Push button starts, you're missing out a little bit on something. So, a little bit of an overview of this SC430. It's an 05, it has a 4.3 liter V8 that makes 300 horsepower. Sounds pretty nice. That's made into a 5-speed automatic transmission, and it makes for one of the smoothest powertrains ever to come out of Lexus. It is just phenomenal. Very little vibration, pretty quick actually, and of course this is a folding hardtop convertible, which is very nice. Today, a little bit chilly for that, but we've got a very interesting looking interior here, very mid-2000s, lots of wood, lots of covers. I mean, look at this. Everything works in this SC430 as it should. We have heated seats, a couple different drive modes, power, normal, and snow. You can turn off VSC, no limited slip differential, unfortunately. And you can choose on the navigation between English or French. And the reason for that is because this car was kind of developed in the French Riviera. And my mom is also fluent in French, so she probably uses the French navigation, if I'm being honest. Very nice interior for having 117,000 miles. Everything in here has held up surprisingly well. Even the steering wheel looks pretty fresh. So the first thing we needed to do to this Lexus SC430 is fit it with some proper tires. And I decided probably the best option to go with would be one tire to do it all. My mom's gonna be driving this year-round in Michigan, and what better option than the Michelin CrossClimate 2. I spent some time with the CrossClimate, the first version, on my Volvo 850, and I found them to be good in the snow and good in the summer, but they were just a little bit squishy. These CrossClimate 2s feel like they have a slightly harder tread compound, and I know that they're optimized for better wear too. So we'll see how they wear over the long term. We'll see how they perform in the dry today. I drove them in the rain a couple days ago, and they were awesome. Traction was just absolutely incredible. Also want to get this car out in the snow some this winter, and we'll see how it performs there too. So we'll do a little bit of kind of a 4-season test here with these CrossClimate 2s. They should last a long time and provide good traction. And I think this is just a cool looking tread pattern too. We have 245 40 R18s at all 4 corners. No staggered setup here. Stock Lexus SC430 wheels, which are very funky looking. We had a little bit of trouble getting these tires balanced at Discount Tire because some of these wheel cover bolts were seized on, and all they had was just a tiny little Allen wrench. So we got the proper tool to get those off, and they were able to get them balanced nicely, and no vibrations, anything like that. But kind of an interesting issue, something that you wouldn't expect to run into in a car like this, but because it has those wheel covers, it became a problem. I also polished out the headlights. Of course, these are plastic. They came out pretty well. I could do a little bit more work to them, but it actually really improved nighttime visibility, which is neat. We had some random check engine light come on, and then I plugged my OBD2 scanner in, and that caused a VSC fault code. So apparently in these older Lexuses, if you plug in a non-Lexus OBD2 reader, or just kind of like a generic one, it can cause some DTC errors, and you have to basically do a 0-point calibration from there. So what that involves is going all the way under here to the OBD2 port, taking basically a paper clip and jumping 2 pins in there, and doing a sequence with startup, and that'll kind of reset the VSC lights and traction control off lights and do a 0-point calibration on the car. The procedure to do that is very well documented on YouTube, and it's different for the 2005s versus the later model SC430s. The engine bay here is surprisingly clean. Everything looks as it should. Power steering fluid could probably use a little bit of a refresh, but I believe this has batteries from April 19. That might need to be replaced. We'll see how it holds up this winter. But everything else in here just looks fantastic. You can just feel and see how little vibration is transmitted from this engine. It is just so quiet and so smooth. Solid hood close there. Let's pop the trunk. One thing we did need to do was replace these struts here to hold the trunk up. They had just gotten old and started to fail. Oh, and we also have a new set of floor mats in there. Let's go up front and show you those. So these are WeatherTech all-weather floor mats. My mom's gonna be driving this year-round, so this was a pretty necessary upgrade. And from what I can find on the internet, at least, is that this is the only set of rubber mats available for the Lexus SC430. And according to WeatherTech's website, they're made specifically for the SC430, but they fit terribly. They look like more like a generic floor mat. And I actually had to cut the corner off of this side, of the driver's side one, because it was running into the seat rail and folding up, which isn't good. On the passenger side, we have slightly better fitment, but still, it's not great. But it'll do the job, and it seems to be pretty sturdy. One issue we did have was, I'm not sure if something got kicked or knocked loose, or if it was just old and worn out, but we did have an AC drain tube that was leaking into the passenger side footwell. Pretty easy fix once we found out what it was, but there was a little bit of wetness underneath here, which is always concerning, but no moldy smell or anything like that, so we got away kind of scot-free on that one. Seats all look really nice, no rips or tears. They could use a little bit of a freshening up with a leather cleaner and conditioner, but otherwise, this interior has really held up incredibly well. My mom doesn't like the wheels. I love them. I think they're so cool. They are kind of weird looking, but 18s all around. A little bit of sidewall here. Not too bad. All right, let's go for a drive and see what this thing is like. This seat belt here, bit of a reach. And unfortunately, it doesn't stay very well kept in this little seatbelt keeper. So I've been leaving it out most of the time. Visibility, not too bad. Auto dimming rearview mirror. Mark Levinson sound system. And look at this. My mom's got all of her CDs in here. Billy Joel, Barbra Streisand, French music. I mean, more Billy Joel. Classic Love album. Johnny Mathis. Could you imagine a better car for my mom? I could not. Have to get her in here one day and do a video together. So we talked at length in the first video of this SC430 about this car's driving dynamics and how wrong Jeremy Clarkson was when he first reviewed this. So basically what you need to know, brakes are surprisingly good. And the engine and the transmission are also surprisingly good. I was impressed at how quick this is off the line. Ride isn't as soft and floaty as you would expect. There's pretty good body control here from the suspension. And now that we're on a proper set of tires, we can actually kind of feel how this thing handles. So I've been driving this all week, but I've just been driving it around like a grandpa. Let's go push this around some corners and see how these CrossClimate 2s do in the dry and the cold. It's about 26 degrees Fahrenheit out today. So pretty chilly. We'll get an opportunity to see how these tires perform. We've already got some temperature in the engine. We'll let the gearbox warm up just a little bit. This is such a comfortable car to drive. These seats are just phenomenal. Aside from Volvo seats and Nissan Zero Gravity seats, these are just some of the best out there. Brake pedal, again, really good feel and amazing bite. I can even turn off VSC, though sadly, no limited slip differential in this car. Easy to drive, just a lovely little thing to pilot around. But it feels heavy, it feels solid. Completely seamless shifts there from the 5-speed. And actually decent handling. We have hydraulic power steering, so there's a little bit of steering feel. No paddle shifters, but you do have some manual gear control here with this shifter. But honestly, that's not what this car's about. This is a relaxing cruiser, and it's got a great V8. It's pretty fuel efficient, actually. Rated for the low 20s on the highway, about 18 in the city. We're getting a little bit of wind noise from some older window seals. Those might need to be replaced at some point. But no leaks, no water intrusion, which is good. Cruise control works as it should. Get your famous Toyota Lexus stock down here, which just works great. A little bit of growl from the tires, but not too bad considering their aggressive tread design. And it's basically, think of it as a winter compound in a very water evacuative design from these CrossClimate 2s. Much quieter than the 7-year-old tires that were on there before. I think we had a set of mismatched Continentals and something else that was on this Lexus SC430. Only thing I wish it had was a heated steering wheel. Can't find it for the life of me. I don't think this car has one. Heated seats work well though. Yeah, I am actually really impressed with these CrossClimate 2s. This is a more dynamically enjoyable tire, I feel like, than the first version of the CrossClimates. A little bit stiffer sidewall, though that could be the cold temperatures that we're seeing today. A bit more grip mechanically too. As one tire to do it all, I'm excited to see how this does in the snow and in the heat of the summer. Upon first impressions though, pretty quiet on the highway, good handling, really nice wet driving characteristics. Excited to get this in the snow later this winter and see how it performs versus an all-terrain and a dedicated winter tire. I think we're going to be doing a rear-wheel drive tire competition here at some point. I'm going to throw a set of Michelin X-Ice tires on the S2000, and then I have the all-terrains on the BRZ. We'll see how they all do. For some reason the parking brake light was just on coming down from the entrance ramp. Funny thing about this car, so if you engage the parking brake, it's a push pedal right down there. All you have to do to disengage it is just pull this lever. It's actually kind of nice. I like that. Oh boy. It is always a bit of a mystery of what you're getting into when you buy a car that's this old. And it has had a few issues initially, but for the most part, the powertrains on these cars are incredibly reliable, very, very stout, and they're just well built, and they seem to hold up very well over a long time. Don't know too much about the maintenance history on this SC430. So far, a couple little random annoying issues have popped up, but for the most part, it's been a pretty enjoyable first few months. Definitely want to give a shout out to my buddy at Cap's Garage, Keone in Ypsilanti. He's done a lot of the work on this car so far and taking good care of my mom in the process. So if you guys need any work done in the Ypsilanti area, go check him out. I'll throw his Instagram, a link to his Instagram in the description. This SC430 replaced my mom's 2002 Volvo S60 5-speed manual. So let's see, the stable now for them is they have a 2014 FJ Cruiser that's just built up to be this crazy overland rig. They have a 2011 Volvo S80 front-wheel drive with the inline 6 and a 2017 Miata RF BBS Brembo package 6-speed manual, and then this 05 SC430. How do my parents have a better garage than I do? That's crazy. They're nailing it. One of these days we'll have to review the FJ again. It's been a while. That thing is just such a cool rig. And never done a video on the S80. Let me know if you guys would like to see that too. Until then though, we'll get back to you guys with some more ownership impressions on this SC430, and I would like to get this in the snow and give you guys some winter driving impressions on these tires. I feel like this would actually be a pretty good vehicle to drive in the winter. It's got some heft to it. It's about 3,800 pounds, and I feel like with all that weight, it would put its power down pretty well, even though it doesn't have a limited slip diff. We'll test out the VSC system, turn everything off, slide it around a little bit, have some fun in the snow. I'm excited to spend some more time in this SC430. It's just a fantastic daily. It's so comfortable, so nice, so smooth and relaxing. Definitely some things I'd like to fix on this car eventually, like those window seals, but otherwise, this is a pretty solid vehicle, and I know my mom has really enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed living with it this week. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned for more on this 2005 SC430. There we go. Pretty high up on the list too is just getting this thing detailed. It could really use a paint correction. A couple little scuffs and marks. Pretty much everything will come out though. No dents, no major scratches or issues. I mean, the paint on this is pretty solid. A little bit of clear coat peeling right there, but that could probably be polished out too and ceramic coated or something. I think with a little bit of TLC, this car would look absolutely incredible. It already looks good, but yeah, we'll get it detailed eventually.